let's keep going. We'll move on to the placement method, which was number 2. For this one, I'm not going to go over all the stuff that I talked about in the first video. I am going to introduce some new concepts to the dice roll. So, big one, first one, is Oathbreakers. It's the undead kingdom maker for Oathmark. I'm going to be introducing that along with some of the new rolls. To do this, treat this very simply. So on your D10, you got 1 to 5 as your kingdom, and then 6, 7, 8 is the other 3 kingdoms, 9 is undead, and 10 is unknown. Basically, you're taking out your kingdom from the last 5 and bringing in the undead one. Also bring in Wainwrights, which make chariots, 3 new of the unaligned creatures, and special formations in Bane of Kings. Chariots, you just add an extra row to every race that isn't undead, and you treat it as a tier 3 thing called Wainwrights. And for the special formations and the extra unaligned, you treat it as a normal unaligned roll, but you roll on your d10. 1 through to 7 is associated with a unaligned creature. 8, 9, 10 is a special formation, and unlike most of the things here where I RGN it, with a special formation, it makes sense to just note it down and add one that is appropriate, because if you don't have a lot of archers, it makes no sense to have a special archery formation. Unless there's a reason for it, like having super duper archers. And additionally, this doesn't bring in any extra rolls, but if you have battle spawn, you'd also have boats from things like your timber mills, and you'd have engineers from your cities, which is just something to keep in mind, but nothing influencing our rolls. So the benefits to using the placement method as opposed to the progressive method: it's higher magic because you got a greater chance of getting some of the bigger stuff than you do in the progressive method. It's still legal. Additionally, because you're not doing this progressive method and you roll on the entire list to see what you get and then locate it, to do it, all you really need is a d10 and maybe a d12 for the undead rolls, but that'll sort you out for the entire process. Cool, let's go. Alright, so we grab our sheet. We sit down, and I'm just going to go through this time. I think I'll stop too much unless I want to make a comment, which I probably will, because it's video, and why wouldn't I make a comment when I'm making a video? Yeah, that's right. So as usual, grab a d10, 1 to 2 is dwarves, 3 to 4 human, 4 to 6 elves, 7's goblins, 8's orcs. And just the same as with orcs, 9 is a necropolis for a revenant, and a 10 is going to be a cursed burial ground for a necromancer. 10, there you go, a cursed burial ground for a necromancer, which in this world is not that surprising. Looking at the Lichton video, which I'll pop in the top corner somewhere. Should be noted too, unlike the first time where I rolled a random location on the world, this one I'm going to be creating the kingdom and then placing it where I think it's most sensible. You can roll these dice any way you want because you're placing them on the world map. It doesn't have to be sequential, you could roll up all of them at once if you wanted to. I think I'll just do it 2 at a time for my sanity. So I've got an undead, makes sense. 6, 7, so that'll be a human. So an undead and a human. So I'll need a d12 for the undead and a d10 for the human. So undead 10, human 5. No, undead 5, human 10. Which I'm pretty sure is a reroll. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Wainwrights. So human Wainwrights and undead. And undead, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sepulchre, Revenant Cavalry. So the Revenant Cavalry is a 2, you can go here. So we'll put a Sepulchre. And it's a human Wainwright, which is a 3, so it's got to be in the 4th one. Alright, let's go again. So undead, and a 6 is a dwarf. Undead and dwarf. That's a reroll. I think dwarves only go up to 9 now. So another Sepulchre for cavalry. Pop it next to it. Maybe very cavalry based. species, this one. And dwarf 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hermitages, a dwarf spellcaster. It's dwarf 3, so again, it's on the outer rim. So I'll pop it here for now until I can think of a nice way to present this, or a way that it makes sense. Another 2. Undead and dwarf again. Undead 4, dwarf 8. So for the dwarf, it's going to be... So for the dwarf, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Moors, a Barghest again. And an undead 4, I think that's ghouls. 1, 2, 3, 4 Catacombs. Revenant Warriors, Champion, and Linebreakers. So Moors is definitely a 4. And Catacombs. Alright, 2 more. Undead. D12, D12. 11. 8. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A Dark Tower. 9, 10, 11. And Ash Wastes. Dark Tower and Ash Wastes. I kind of want the Ash Wastes out here if I can. For now, I'll just put the Dark Tower in place. Sepulchre. Hermitages are here, so maybe Dark Tower. I can see maybe some dwarven refugees or something flocking to the Dark Tower to learn the dark crafts. Who knows? And what was the other one? Ash Wastes. I kind of want it out here, not in here. For now, I'll put it in here. I don't know what I'm going to roll next. Ash Wastes. And final roll the dice. 0, 0, something special, unaligned. Okay. So again, 1 to 7 is special, and 8, 9, 10 would be some kind of specialism, which looking at this layout, I'd probably try for something cavalry-y, cavalry-esque. We'll see. 8, something special. Alright, so Bane of Kings, something special. So what have I got here? I've got... It feels like a cavalry thing. I've got a lot of wizards, some soldiers, some magical creatures, and human chariots. Now, it looks like there aren't any cavalry special formations, which seems like an oversight, to be honest. But there is a chariot one, and given the emphasis whoever these people are, they have on cavalry warfare, I'll go with the chariot unit, because it seems to make sense to what's going on. Available only chariots. Chariot formation allows 2 chariots to fight together as a single unit following the normal rules for units and chariots. Alright, I'll do that. Chariot tracks. And looking at this, I've got Cursed Burial Ground, 2 sepulchres full of undead cavalry, catacombs full of undead soldiers, ash wastes, necromancer tower, dwarf hermitage, some Moors, chariot tracks, and human rain rights. Let's look at the map. So now all I'm doing is looking for a place to locate this that makes sense to me. There's no hills, I'm guessing lots of flat area, a place that doesn't grow anything, but it's got moors, so somewhere where there is some kind of moisture, and somewhere where there is some kind of desert. You know what I think I'll do? I think I'm going to pop it down here, to be honest. Maybe right here on this bit. I reckon I'm going to give it a bit of a, not necessarily ancient Egypt, but give it a kind of Iberian feel. Carthage, maybe? Bit of a kind of a dry, treating this as a dry steppe rather than forest. I know, like when you look at the world, this is along that Mediterranean belt, but there are warm places. There are warm places in Europe. Yeah, I think I want to look at it down here. Gotta say, I'm liking the feel of this, having like a deserty kind of area down there, but I'm having trouble trying to decide what kind of place this is. So maybe I'll just start drawing. And we'll see where we get to. And you can just listen to music while you watch me draw for a while. Alright, so I think I've settled on an idea that I want to run with. Just as with the Lichdom game, this is a ruined ancient city of that first race the Lich is from. But unlike the ones he's discovered in, there's no Triceratop characters anywhere nearby. Whoever it is the ruler of this place, has stumbled upon all the ancient relics and such of his people and figured out the dark arts of necromancy. So even though this is the cursed burial ground, we'll say it's a tomb, like a temple complex that the kings got buried in ancient Egypt, that kind of thing. He actually exists up here in this dark tower. This dark tower is where the ruler of this land sits. And this is a location where he's got plenty of materials to be mucking about with. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. I'll run with that. It's a lot more closer, it's a lot more intimate than this one down here, where you had this big sweeping landscape. This is zoomed in a bit more on one particular city. I reckon the Wainwrights maybe are desert people that have camped outside the walls of the ancient city. Maybe he's hired them, maybe they've just been drawn to his power or whatnot. And the Hermitage are disaffected wizards and scholars from the Dwarven Kingdoms that have come to learn the dark arts from him. I reckon that's cool. I like that. I like that idea. And it fits with the setting that I'm in. Alright. So I got an idea of what this place is. We are crazy necromancer up here and the City of the Dead. I'm going to go to Google and look up an Aztec translator. Or I should say a Nahuatl translator. Okay, cool. I learned something new. And what's a good name to screw around? I'll just call it the City of Empty Sleep. And that comes out as... I'm going to butcher these words. Luya Tepua Uakalo Kochi. The city of empty sleep. Alright, kingdom name. Really city name, not kingdom name. Luealt Epua Uakalo Kochi. Alright. And you gotta decide who's in control of the city. Who is in fact the crazy necromancer responsible for coming here. So I think I'll random race it again. It's gonna be a 1. Oh, a dwarf. Okay, cool. Makes sense why there's hermitages there then, because the dwarves come along and learned the dark arts and maybe summoned his fellows, other like-minded people. So I'm going to go to the Book of Random Tables and get a random dwarf name. D100 for a clan name, 70. D100 for a name, 70 and 41. Alright, so Heston Mindbrow, we know you're a necromancer. Well, we're going to go back to good old Une and figure out a bit more details of you. So before you were a necromancer, you were an unconcerned clairvoyant. You sound like a target for a demon to whisper into your mind. Your motivations are 79, 85, determine, communication. Makes sense given you're a clairvoyant. $29, 58. Follow, servitude. Oh. And 61, 99. Work expertise. I mean, work your art as a necromancer, I guess. And your mood is 84, 45. Mysterious whispers. Oh, I think this guy's clearly speaking to someone. Okay. Do we determine that now, or do we determine? I'll tell you what. D6. I reckon 1. It's Marlu Bell, the one that hated the Triceratops. 2 to 3. It's Uriel Bell, which is the one that corrupted him, and he's corrupting this guy too. He's spreading his tentacly tendrils all over the world. And 3 to 6. It's something else. 3. Okay. Uriel Bell. Here we go. Oh, follower of Uriel Bell. See, like, this is why I like random shit. This is why I like doing this, because it's just like, you'd think it would be hard to tie completely random settings together, but it isn't. Like, you can make it work. So up here there was all the stuff with the Lich and Barley Bell. Down here is that dwarf, and in between, throughout here, are these conflicts going on because of Uriel Bell. And down here, in this recovered crazy Triceratops necropolis, the same demon has twisted a guy an unconcerned clairvoyant, who was clearly suspect to listening in on the demon's lies, and is now influencing things down here. Like, I love it. I love it. Like, it's the way the story is just spread naturally is so pleasurable to me. And maybe I'm just a weird guy that way, but I find it incredibly satisfying. So yeah, that's how you do the just placement method of creating an Oathmark Kingdom. There's one more to go, which is the anything goes. And after that, I'll start playing games. Alright. Bye bye.